Kicking off the hearing on Monday, we heard from a UN representative accusing Israel of not fulfilling its obligations under the United Nations Charter, citing things like its inability to keep UN workers and facilities safe in Gaza. It's estimated that nearly 300 UN workers have lost their lives in Gaza since October 7th, 2023. Also saying that Israel must do more to give the UN the support it needs for UNRWA, its UN agency, to work on the ground in the Palestinian enclave. UNRWA provides support, be it through medical, schooling or food assistance, to roughly 2 million people in Gaza. We have heard directly from Palestinian representatives addressing the top UN court in The Hague, saying that Israel is fully subjecting Palestinians to what they describe as an endless death loop. They provided images and some harrowing testimony alleging that some babies had to have limbs amputated without as much of as a single painkiller because of the lack of humanitarian aid. There was plenty of accusations as to the impact of the humanitarian situation, especially since Israel's decision to prevent all aid from entering Gaza since the beginning of March. We aren't expected to hear oral testimony from Israeli officials during the week, but they have provided a written rebuttal. They say that they are allowed to take actions on UN agencies because they are operating on Israel's sovereign territory. They've also accused UNRWA of being infiltrated by Hamas. That is something the UN say they largely refute, but they are conducting their own independent investigation. Later this week, well, on Tuesday, we're expected to hear from South Africa's representatives. They're one of roughly 40 countries expected to provide their testimony. The likes of the United States, Russia, China, all expected to speak later in the week. Now, what we're expecting is that while this hearing could take just a matter of days, I'm being told by sources at the International Court of Justice that it could be months for this 15-panel court to provide their advisory opinion. William Denselow, SABC News, Brussels.